Welcome to our 5-minute Bible study in the book of Genesis. Our last session together, we concluded the story of Abraham, the great man of faith. And as we move on today, we come to the story of his son, Isaac. Now, you know, of course, that in Genesis, the latter part of the book revolves around the three patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Abraham is, of course, the greatest. The most material is given to him, as we understand. A lot is given to us about Jacob. We don't know as much about Isaac. We know, of course, he is the child of promise, but we're not shown as much into his life as we are the other two. But what we see is an incredible story, that he also was a man of faith, as his father Abraham was. Let me just read a few verses to you to make that point. It's from Genesis chapter 26. This is after Abraham has died. Isaac has become, of course, the leader of the family and the clan. It says, so Isaac moved away from there and encamped in the valley of Gerar, where he settled. Isaac reopened the wells that had been dug in the time of his father Abraham, which the Philistines had stopped up after Abraham died. And he gave them the same names that his father had given them. From there he went to Beersheba. And that night the Lord appeared to him in a dream and said, I am the God of your father Abraham. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. I will bless you, and I will increase the number of your descendants for the sake of my servant Abraham. Isaac built an altar there, and he called on the name of the Lord. Now, what I find fascinating about this story, this little picture into the life of Isaac, is that he followed the way of faith, as his father Abraham had done. Notice it says, and I think this is symbolic, he reopened the wells of his father Abraham. And he gave them the same names his father had given them. He reopened the wells. You know, sometimes in our life we need to reopen the wells of spiritual nourishment. There have been those of our forefathers who went before us and showed us the way of faith. They showed us where the life-giving water of the Spirit of God flows from. Sometimes we just need to reopen those wells to reaffirm the faith our forefathers had and to walk in that faith as well. That's what Isaac did. He was walking in the way of Abraham. I know this to be true because it also says he went to Beersheba and he met God. And God reaffirmed the covenant to him that he had made to Abraham. I'm the God of your father Abraham. Don't be afraid. I will bless you now. I will increase your number now. I'll do it for the sake of my servant Abraham, for you're walking in his way of faith. And then Isaac did just as Abraham had always done. He built an altar and he called on the name of the Lord. You know, sometimes it's easy to overlook the story of Isaac because he doesn't stand out as much as Abraham, nor really as much as his son Jacob. But oh, what a great man Isaac was. He reopened the wells. He drew from the spiritual nourishment that Abraham had drawn from. He built the altars. He called on the name of the Lord as Abraham had done. He walked in that way of faith. And that's what you and I need to do. We need to be like Isaac and walk in the way of faith. Let's reopen some wells in our life. Reopen the wells of prayer. Reopen the wells of Bible study. Reopen the wells of worship. Reopen the wells of devotion to God. Reopen the wells of zeal for his kingdom. All the ways that those who went before us in the faith showed us. Let's reopen those wells. Let's build our altars. Let's walk in the faith of those who went before us. You know, we who are Methodist, we follow in the way of John Wesley, who believed in salvation by faith and sanctification by faith. Let's reopen those wells and walk in that way of Wesley. Let's build our own altars now, as Wesley did. And let's know the same blessing upon us as God gave to those who went before us. That's the way of Isaac, a great, great man of faith. Let's you and I reopen some wells. Let's build some altars. Let's call on the name of the Lord. Amen and amen. Hope you have a great day today. Hope you have a wonderful day. Hope it's a day of blessing for you. And I will see you next time for our 5-minute Bible study in the book of Genesis.